Alright, good morning everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 14th, 2012. We're going to go over all the trade setups that we had in the live trading room this morning, the trades we took, the trades we didn't take, all that sort of business. Before I get too far into it, let's go over the results. I was break even on the Russell and on the ES this morning in the trades that I took. Russell Dom, ES Dom. We did, however, Dwayne made a profit of 7 points on the YM, and let me bring his DOM over so you can see Dwayne's DOM. Alright, that's Dwayne's YM DOM. So he made 7 points this morning. Alright, now, for everyone that's out there that's listening or watching this, if you have not taken the CFRN trial, to do so, you just need to go to www.cfrn.net/apply, APPLY. Alright, that'll bring you to a little sign-up page. You just fill out the little form. It's really a pretty simple thing to do, and you can be up and running with the Daniels trading charts and all those sorts of things. Within an hour, easily, I would think. Now, to go over the Daniels trading charts just a little bit, what you get as part of the trial package with us, you get access to all of our indicators, our proprietary indicators that you see here. You get access to all the data feeds that Daniels Trading provides for free. You get access to their charts and all of that stuff for 5 business days. Okay, that's 5 business days. If a holiday falls in the middle of the week, you'll get access to it, the following week, for that one day to make up for the 5th business day. All right. I just wanted to point that out to everyone. One other thing I want to point out is today is Wednesday. Tomorrow night is our weekly partners meeting. On Thursday nights, every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a partners meeting where we go over any questions anybody may have, what's working for people, what's not working for people, anything new that we may have, anything that we see on the horizon. All those sorts of things. All right. The partners meetings have been great. We've had a lot of partner participation in the meetings, which is exactly what we wanted to have. And we've originally scheduled them all for an hour, and they've been going usually 2 to 3 hours every Thursday night. All right. Now let's get on to the markets. Okay. The first thing we'll look at here is the Russell 4-tick range. Okay, because that's primarily where we were doing our trading this morning. However, we ended up with a couple of break-even trades on that. I don't have, because I had to restart it all, I don't have the exact spots where we entered, but I believe we entered, I'll show you, we entered over here, and we ended up taking a break-even on this. We went long here. And before I jump ahead to that, let me just show what's going on here. All right, what we were looking at this morning, the trades that we were looking at this morning, the first one was over here where we had support dots that were put in with a bullish divergence. When that happened, we said we don't anticipate the BBC to hold. And up close over the MA1 would have been the more conservative spot to enter, right in there. All right, I know that we did have some people that entered that this morning. Now, once we got up here and we got up above the resistance dots, we were anticipating broken resistance running somewhere. All right, we had this, again, bullish divergence down here. So price came down, hit the BBC. Now we expected the BBC to hold because we had the bullish divergence here. We anticipated the BBC holding. I know we had some people in the live trading room that took the trade from the BBC. I waited until we closed up above the MA1. I went long right in here. It did go 7 or 8 ticks. Then I moved my stop up to break even, and it came back and got me out at break even right over here. Okay. Now, as price moved on, we were watching it go up and down off of support and resistance here. There was a spot over here, right here where we had, this was a hiccup trade. All right, price closed down below the MA1, and it also closed down here without this turning blue on the pullback. All right, so there was an opportunity to enter right in there. Right over here, again, we had some bearish divergence right here and right here, another hiccup for that matter. There was another opportunity to enter a short trade right in here. I know we had some people that did that. As price kept going down, we had more divergence opportunities that were setting up in here. Right here was one of them. There was an entry, a possibility to enter right in there. Let's see, price kept moving down. Now I had drawn a trend line before I had to rebuild this chart this morning. I had drawn a trend line down. I'll do it again. Here. Okay, I had drawn it after this top was put in here. I had drawn that trend line. Now we watched as the market pulled back up to that trend line right over here. All right, we watched that happen right there, and then it just dropped right off of the trend line and put in these support dots. We didn't have any divergence or anything like that to give us an opportunity to enter the trade, but we did watch it drop. It did the same thing over here, and I did actually enter this one. Again, we didn't have any divergence or anything to support the move down, but I did enter this trade, and it went a few ticks in my favor, and it ended up getting me out of break even again. Okay. Now, as we waited for this to happen, this was at the break period here. This was during the break, but we had a hiccup on the long side. Now, right in here, going into the weekly trading zone, trading right around in here it still is really messy, and it's not something I want to engage in at this point on the Russell. But you can see right here, it was just a lot of short sideways moves. But we did have divergence right here, okay, and right here, suggesting a little bit of a move up and a little bit of a move up. All right, so you could have gotten a little bit out of each one of those. Now, that was the Russell this morning, okay? I'm going to move the Russell aside, and we'll go over here to the ES. The ES 4-tick range didn't have any setups again this morning. We tried to take a couple of trades over there. We put orders on to take the trades, but they just never came. They never came around. They were disqualified for one reason or another every single time. All right. On the 10,000 contract chart, we had a bearish cross right here. Now this would have been the Mike R trade right here if I put a 50. This right there. Oops, that's a 51. Yeah, you can watch me struggle with that. The pullback right here to the BBC after the bearish cross when the cycle crossed down below the 50. On the 2100, this would have been a Mike R trade. Okay. Here on the 10K, just the first pullback after price pulls away from and back into the BBC is where you would have gone short. I did actually go short here. I ended up getting a break even on the trade. Okay. Let's see. The 7-minute, that's not what I wanted to look at. Here it is, the naked 2100 tick. There was only one setup that I had identified this morning on that over here when this was happening. I wanted to wait until we had a 5-point move before we got into anything. I said that when it was right around here. I wanted to wait till we had a good 5-point move. And that 5-point move was from here to here. And that has been the range of the day. Pretty close to the range of the day. When that had happened, I had said right in here, if you're looking at the naked 2100 tick for a shorting opportunity, right here would have been the spot to short. And obviously that went down. All right, you can see we're pretty close to the bottom of the day right here. It is closing down below the MA1. And it's looking like it could actually go down here, but I'm not feeling it right now. Not just yet, anyway. We're below resistance here. The first pullback after the bearish cross is what I like to take. All right, that goes for pretty much all of these things that we're doing here. The first pullback after the bearish cross. There was one over here on the YM that I had pointed out right before we ended the morning session. It was actually a little after 11:30 is when we normally close, and this was 11:35. But I put the arrow on there saying that's where the entry would have been because that was the first pullback after the bearish cross. It closed the window of opportunity, which is the space between the BBC, this green line, and the MA1, which is the red and blue line. It closed that window of opportunity, and at that point I would have moved my stop to break even. I would have been out of that at break even. That was our only trade on the YM. So now I've gone over the ES, the YM, the Russell. Let me bring over the 6E. Okay, oops. Let me find the 6E. Here it is. All right, let me bring over the Euro. Now the Euro didn't have a lot of activity this morning, but one thing that I pointed out early on was this area right here. I had said that once price pulls back up here to this 130.50, 130.55 was the actual number I gave. we could start to look for a turn down off of that probably. It went through it a little bit, about, I don't know, 10 ticks through it. But if you look at the 500 contract, after that had happened, this is where it had gone through it. All right, it had hit it over here, and it had gone through it right here. And right in here is where I said you could start looking for closes down below the MA1s. All right, closes down below the MA1 when the white is to the left of the green. So they would have been right in here. Let me draw them on there for you. One right there, one right here, and another one right here. Okay, those are the spots that you could have been looking to go short on the 6E. There was one early on right here when the elbow was broken to the downside. Right here, the white was to the left of the green when the elbow was broken, so the pull back up to the BBC right here. I've already drawn in the arrow. I showed that this morning as well. The pull back up to the BBC right there should have worked out well, and it did actually work out well. I think it gave, well, how many ticks did that give? We'll say 55 down to 32. Or let's just say 52 down to 32, so it gave 20 ticks. All right, and that was in a pretty short amount of time. The 6E, though, we're still trading the H contract on the 6E. It's still, the H contract still has about 3 times the volume of the M contract. All right, the 6E contract expires on Monday, as opposed to most of the other things that we trade, which expire on Friday. Okay, let's see. Now we've done the YM, the 6E, the ES, and the Russell. We haven't done the NQ. All right, the NQ traded a lot like the Russell this morning. I'm using the same setups on it, using the same exact template. Okay. Let me just scroll back here a little bit, and we'll go over it. And I think you guys will probably see the similarity between the NQ and the Russell. This was that trade this morning where we had support. Price moved up off of support. We didn't have the divergence for this push-up, okay, which we did have on the Russell. But it moved up, got up above the BBC. Here we had some bearish divergence. So at this point with the bearish divergence, a close down below the MA1 with the black rolling down over here would have been a possible entry opportunity right in there. It didn't go all that far, from 12,699 down to 12,697. Not all that far. But then price turned around and it broke the resistance right here. All right, now this was the same spot where it broke the resistance on the Russell. It went up here, fiddled around a little bit, consolidated a little bit, dropped back down toward the BBC. We had some bullish divergence down here, so that suggested just an up close, a bounce off the BBC, or a close above the MA1 should work out. You can see it did work out, though it didn't. I mean, it wasn't a big running trade, but it did work out. Okay. So we had the broken resistance there. Then we came over here. We put in some support. We didn't have anything showing that support should hold. Right here, it broke it a little bit. We had some bearish divergence right here. All right, but there was nothing in there as far as trades go. Over here, we had some support dots right here, but we didn't have anything suggesting that we should take any trades in there. Over here, the same thing. We didn't have anything suggesting we should take trades and that the resistance wasn't going to hold until we get right here where we have bullish divergence that is closing in, and we put in the support dot and closed above the MA1 and BBC at the same time. So this one right here, all right, was an opportunity to get in. We didn't have anything else in here until we broke support, closed down below the MA1 right there. Okay, that spot right there. All right. Let's see. The next one was over here. We had the bullish divergence. Price came down, hit the BBC. We had the up close. Now, 3 different ways you could have entered this. One was with the bullish divergence. You could have just entered here at the BBC. You could have waited for confirmation by the up close right here, or you could have waited until this started to turn up here and waited for the close up above the MA1, which would have been right there. Any one of those would have worked out. Price rolled over, came over here, broke the support right here. All right, pulled back up to the BBC. All the same types of entries right here. You could have entered here at the BBC, over here. You could have entered at the close of that bar, or waited until it closed down below the MA1. All right, so right there was highest risk, medium risk, lowest risk. Those are three different ways you could enter that, all within a point or two on the NQ. All right, since then we've had mixed divergences in here, where we don't have support dots to show a long move here. All right, resistance is up here. We're still coming off of resistance, so there wasn't really anything to go off of there. Over here we had some bearish divergence, broken support, pull back to the BBC, possible entries right in here. That should be right there. Again, three possible entries. You could have waited for the down close. You could have shorted the BBC, the down close, or the close below the MA1. All right, and that pretty much brings us to where we are right now. There's nothing right in here. Everything is going pretty much sideways in here. All right, and that wraps it up for the bunches of markets that we went over this morning in the live trading room. All right, if anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in. I don't see any questions coming in just yet, but I ran over just a little bit here. Sorry, David. But for that, I will stop the recording right now, and I don't see any questions coming in, so we'll wrap it up.